it'll probably end with Bell not playing a snap of football this season. According to multiple reports, Bell is unlikely to report to the Steelers by today's 4 p.m. deadline. That would make him ineligible to play for the rest of the way. Bart, what do you make of the way El Bell has handled this entire situation?
Well, I'll be shocked if he doesn't show up, for at 4 o'clock, because
Really?
I always thought that he was trying to make sure he wasn't traded, had an ability to still show that he was an elite player, because we haven't seen him play. We still believe that he's elite, but he had an opportunity to kind of get a chance to win a Super Bowl and then move on to a team with a Super Bowl ring or another appearance. I think he's making a mistake because, I'm not counting another man's money, but, I would want to get at least that $6 million and plus that playoff money with the opportunity to get some more endorsements if I turn out. We've seen how Connor looks in his offense. We haven't seen how El Bell looks in his offense. He could be more dynamic, and I think he's going to be coming with fresh legs, but reports are that he's a little pudgy, so maybe he was enjoying himself a little bit too much on a jet ski and maybe be a little concerned that he's not in football shape.
With respect, I think the absolute worst thing he could do is show up today at this point, because if he can hold through 4 p.m. today, he guarantees he hits free agency.
Found a loophole.
Healthy. Say it again?
Found a loophole.
Found a loophole, fine. By any means necessary, I guess. And that was his whole prerogative all along, was to hit free agency healthy. I don't think people hold a year out of football against running backs. I don't think all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, I think he's not going to be as patient, not as good at hitting the holes.
I can guarantee you there is at least one owner and one general manager is saying, I do not want that guy in my locker room. I do not want a guy making business decisions in front of my team. So he did not enhance the pool. No, absolutely. That part I can guarantee.
I actually totally agree with that. When I said they don't hold it against running backs, my point is I don't think there's a GM that thinks his skills got worse. They might question his football character. They might question, do I want this guy in my locker room? I get that part of it. But I don't think it's going to be like, oh, when we sign him, what's he going to be as a football player? He knew that the Pittsburgh Steelers, when he wasn't approaching his final year with them, used him more than any running back had been used in NFL history. He also remembers, I'm sure, what Mike Tomlin...
But we act like that's a negative thing.
It's a positive and a negative.
They're treating it like a rental car, right? You don't drive a rental car like you drive a car you own.
Wasn't that reason why we made him special?
Sure.
Because of the wear and tear, because of his durability, because he also played outside the numbers?
Yeah, but it's only a matter of time when you getting used that much before something happens. We saw the injury that happened against the Steelers in a playoff game. He understands that life for a running back in the NFL after 30 is short-lived, and nobody's going to give him that money coming off a 400 carry or 400 touches.
I think this is a situation where we've talked about certain trades in the NFL, certain situations where it's a win-win. I think it's been a lose-lose for all parties involved. I do not think it's been best for Le'Veon Bell's long-term bank account or long-term career to sit out a full year of football, even though I think it's better to do that than to play a third of a season and still risk all the injury without the money. And I don't think it's been best for the Steelers. If they all had to do this over again 2 years ago, I think they get something done.
Or trade him.
Or trade him to a team that wants to get something done. Like, I think for the Steelers, this hasn't worked out well. For Le'Veon, this hasn't worked out well. But given where they are today, I don't think he should show up.
Just the pure numbers of it. When El Bell was the featured back for those 5 years, 13 through 17, points per game. 25. Now with Connor, 31. This is a small sample size, but this is real. And this is why I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers won. In yards per game, 378. El Bell, now 419. Third down conversions, 41%, now 48%. Red zone, which is the most important, 55 conversion, 13 to 17. Now they're converting 78% of them. The reason why Pittsburgh has won, because they found a featured running back. They found a more charming story. James Conner would have been a first-round pick had not he had been diagnosed with he did with the condition he had in college. So he's a local kid. You think they're not going to throw their arms around him at that minimum contract that they have him as a third-round pick over the next couple years? You think they didn't win in that locker room? The general manager, you think they didn't win that locker room? Because El Bell did not get the demands that he wants. So I can pick out a couple points. James Conner being discovered, his overall great story, and the hard line that the front office took, that those guys in the locker room realized, man, they didn't do that for El Bell. Who else in that locker room can hold them up for a king's ransom?
I tell you what, I'm saying I'm out of here because they ain't going to pay me. So I'm leaving here as a free agent. And if anything that James Conner can learn from Le'Veon Bell to understand that he needs to preserve his body, because because it's a good story now, because he's playing with house money because he's getting an opportunity to feature what type of back he is. But what's going to happen when it comes time for them to pay him? Are they going to pay him? If they're smart, they'll lock him up early. Usually what the Steelers do is pay you before you earned it, give you an extension, so then they own you at a market rate that's under market value.
Does this affect the way other people, other players, other running backs will handle the situation if it comes up?
I don't see how it can't. I think I remember when we were talking about Odell with Coach Mangini and about whether or not to give him an extension, right? And Coach Mangini said, man, you got him for the next 3 years. Yeah. You got him for his 5th-year option, franchise tag, then you franchise him again. Well, that math is now different for teams. They now know that once you franchise a player once, they have the ability, if they are willing, to go to the mattresses and sit out either a full year or the 10 games and then show up.
Yeah, I don't see guys doing it. Guys love their money. I do not see this as being a precedent.
Because how much was left on the table this year?
$14 million.
$14 million.
But still, how much money did Earl Thomas lose by hurting himself? So I don't care. I want to see in a calendar year what Le'Veon Bell bank account looks like, opposed to if he would have played and got injured.
Right, so that's the unknown of this is obviously if he would have played, which is why I wouldn't show up today, and got hurt, then he did make this is a better path than that.
Let me tell you something you can't put a dollar amount on, and this is something I know. I'm pretty good friends with a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys who have won trophies. Jerome Bettis, Mean Joe Green, Mel Blount, all these guys I consider to be my dearest of friends. They make money for the rest of their life because they Pittsburgh Steelers and they world champions. This is a great organization. He had a chance to potentially lead them to a Super Bowl championship. Y'all put an equation on how much money that's going to be for the rest of his lifetime, because I've been out of the game 16 years. And being a Hall of Famer and all the things and benefits of that, there's a price tag on it. And I'm collecting. L. Bell, I believe he forfeited some of that because he's with one of the greatest franchises in the history of this game and one of the most respected.
They hated him. He come win a championship with the Jets, he'll never pay for nothing in his life again either. Matter of fact, just take him to the playoffs.
Bart, we'll see you a little bit later. Coming up, do the Patriots have serious problems after losing to the Titans last week? Next on First Things First.
Bart, you took my